Late one night, an off-duty police officer was relaxing with his family when something caught his eye in the house across the street. What made this particularly strange was that the house should have been empty. Its owner had passed away only weeks before, and while relatives had been clearing it out during the day, no one had any reason to be there after dark.
But it's inside now. Tap it on the window out. There.
Yeah.
Top window.
Yeah.
Bottom window. Bottom window.
I can never see it.
What the hell does his face look like? Oh man, it disappeared. What the hell does his face look like? Oh man, it disappeared. Top window. Right.
Oh my god.
Can I zoom in on this?
Oh. God.
Bottom window. What's going on?
You're just going through the floor or something.
It's gone through the wall. Tell you I saw something there.
A dark shape moving swiftly through the empty rooms. The officer's family watched in a mixture of fascination and fear as the unexplained shadow darted around inside. Was there a simple explanation? Maybe just lights from passing cars creating weird reflections? Or were they witnessing something more mysterious, like a visit from the house's former resident? The whole thing left them with goosebumps. This was captured by another security officer who was told by an employee that they heard really loud and strange noises stemming from the dressing area of this old and, at the time, abandoned soccer stadium. So the guard went checking and saw something he could not really explain.
Me crea la gente porque esto nunca me pasó y nada, lo quería grabar, qué sé yo. Podrido, la concha de la lora. Digo, en linterna, para que viera la frente. Dios. Puta que te parió. La puta que te parió. Concha de la lora. La concha de la lora. Pero ¿cómo mierda puede ser que no haya nada hoy? Ya es la tercera vez. Tercera vez que entro y no hay nada. Dios. Me quiero ir. Quiero ir.
The guards didn't even notice that this shadow being seemed to be with him at the time, which makes all of this just so much more creepy. Many say that this shadow being could have been responsible for all of this. Is this plausible? The following clip was shared by Sharon. She thought that she might have captured something really concerning that night. It is an older recording. Sharon, her daughter and their dog were alone that night. She was putting together a little video diary for her family and was filming her daughter dancing to a song. She tells us, "My daughter and I were the only ones in the room. I was recording her Elvis moves to Luke Bryan's Drunk on You. Watching the video, I noticed some smoke and then an unknown person running through the background.
Predictable if you ask me. No matter. Texas. You're from Texas.
I'm not from Texas. Or I have to move it.
Where are you going to live, Mom?
Go. You tell me.
The recording is a bit odd indeed, isn't it? Sharon swears that this wasn't cigarette smoke and no other person. However, I think we can't be fully certain about it. Who knows if she says the truth, given that the video was so old? This could be anything. Maybe it was a setup. Were they visited by a running entity, or was it just another family member? Another video by user Chaos Magic that the user has shared on Reddit. I feel it has been around for quite some time, yet I have never shared it before. It features two parents that are setting up their baby monitor for their newborn. And while the dad is playing around with the camera pan feature, the mother is staying with the baby in one of the rooms upstairs. However, after moving the camera a bit, there appears to be somebody with them on the upper floor that shouldn't be there. Let's take a look.
And can you move these things like left and right as well? Oh yeah, you can. Oh, one sec. Let me check if I can get your face. Say hello, Lisa. What the? Lisa! Who's behind you? Hey? Swear to God, just no. Is there actually anyone behind you? Seriously? I swear to God, I must stop this.
An odd-looking face is peeking into the bedroom and disappearing within 2 frames of the camera capturing it. So we have to ask the question here, what has been recorded on video? Could it be anything paranormal? Of course this is possible. Unfortunately, we don't know anything about the backstory of this place or the family. It could also just be somebody in a mask or a smart edit. But it's pretty curious, isn't it? Steph has shared her story about experiencing strange and paranormal events in her home in Mexico over the past decade. After buying an old second-hand doll, she began hearing unexplained cries of a child throughout her house. Unable to endure it any longer, she got rid of the doll, but the eerie presence continued. One evening, Steph was terrified by chilling noises coming from her bedroom closet. What happened next left her deeply shaken.
Espera, espera, ve. Se está abriendo. ¿Ya viste? No mames. Ya decidió hacerse presente el amigo. Y de día. Ay, no. Miren, 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 miren. Ay, no. Para que no digan que está en la ropa. ¿Dónde?
A small childlike hand slowly pushed the closet door open. Skeptical viewers of Steph's TikTok videos think someone might be hiding in her closet, but Steph shows it's empty. She believes the haunting presence in her home may appear as a child, but could be a malevolent entity in disguise. Is this real or a cleverly crafted hoax? Please share your thoughts in the comments. The following security guard states that other staff has been seeing strange shadow sightings in this grocery store for quite some time now, and that nobody could ever really explain this phenomenon. It happens so frequently that staff are already joking about the shopping shadows they see. And tonight, the guard seems to have captured the activity on camera.
Mira acá de este lado es la pantalla que está prendida. Ahí arriba, esa. De ahí en más, pues estoy solo, les digo, está todo solo ahorita. Solo. Y ahorita había algo allá en la entrada de clientes. Hasta allá, hasta el último. Y lo vi clarito. Ya lo vi otra vez. A ver si se alcanza a ver. No, me da miedo ir. A eso que se mira ahí. Ese. Miren, ya se movió. ¡Oh! Está caminando, de hecho está que no manches.
There clearly is a dark silhouette walking in the aisle in the background, and if it wasn't another staff member or customer, do we have to believe that this one is one of these shadows that the man was telling us about in the beginning? How eerie. This video was forwarded to me by Enrique and was captured by security camera in the backyard of Lacey Turner. She was walking outside of her home that night to water some of her garden plants. Shouldn't be anything crazy. After all, she's doing this every other night. This night, however, something strange appeared right behind her. Lacey stated that she didn't see anything strange at the time and that nobody was with her. It's interesting that this shadow seems to be staring at her and walking towards her whenever she is moving. Some people say it just might have been a bug on the lens. But most people think this was something else. It certainly seems like the shadow is walking here as well. It's probably gonna remain a mystery. The following video was shared by Aphides, a young man who was out one evening to investigate the story of an abandoned and also apparently haunted asylum located in Broby, Sweden. Many people have found their end in there. It is said that several ghosts still roam this old building, and the young man went out to see if this was actually the case.
Stanna! Vi går.
After this blood-curdling scream, the young man filming seems to be capturing a shadow person that can briefly be seen escaping through the door. Could that be possible? Did they capture something from a different time? Or was this just a trick of the eye? Even if so, where did that creepy scream come from? Who can say? This is a recording which was captured by ghost hunter Rafael Ferpa, and he shared this pretty unsettling encounter on his profile. He states that he was out investigating that night when he noticed a possible ghost in an old abandoned house.
Acho que eu vi alguém aqui, cara. Juro pra vocês. Eu vi alguém aqui. Assim, senti um cabelo.
Raphael believes that the spirit of a woman wanted him out of the house and that we could briefly hear her at the end of the video. Could that be her? Of course, this whole incident could also just be a big hoax. What's your opinion? This is the case of Joe Cummings, who captured something really creepy after installing a security camera in his kitchen area. The young man states that he noticed food disappearing overnight and that several items were sometimes found in places where he certainly had not left them. After confronting his girlfriend, she denied to have been the culprit, making Joe actually question his sanity and then installing the CCTV camera. What he found was quite shocking, to say the least. A strange woman is crawling out of the crawl space on top of the kitchen area. She then keeps going through Joe's fridge, eating his food, checking the pantry, and hanging out for a little bit. Before Joe decides to go for a little midnight snack. The scary part is, Joe did not notice the freeloader in his kitchen and went back to bed. Can you imagine the imminent danger he might have found himself in? Shortly after, the woman returned back into the crawl space. When Joe checked the footage the following day, his jaw literally dropped to the floor, and he had police take care of the matter. What a creepy encounter. Was sent in by a viewer who was exploring the abandoned Belitzer Heilstätten in Brandenburg, in which even I was investigating many years ago with my team. They were scouting the location for an upcoming documentary filming.
Hallo? Scheiße! Weg hier!
This young man was exploring an abandoned civil hospital. His friends told him that sometimes things can be seen there that no one has an explanation for. Could he capture one of the former patients? Did you notice anything strange? Neither did the young man. But let's look at that again now. There appears to be an old man in a hospital gown, with some slippers. How come nobody saw him at the time? Maybe his spirit? A young woman has noticed some strangeness in front of her home, and her Wisecam could capture the following footage one day. She wrote, "My Wisecam detected an apparition, and this thing approaches and goes by. You can hear its footsteps, and the city I live in was once a dense forest with Indian trails." Was an actual spirit walking by here? Or was this just a reflection from somewhere else? This video was sent by user TXTreasure and it shows a young man in a gym. The video was later shared by Carlos Ruiz, who supposedly works the security monitors in the gym. It was a pretty unusual encounter, since the young man in the video seems to have a run-in with something invisible. Some say that a malevolent demon might have grabbed this man and dragged him along the floor. Could this be? One thing is for certain, he probably will find himself another gym. What do you guys think? Fact or fiction? This was shared by user It's Isaac. In general, he doesn't really post much on his profile, and when he does, it's mostly gaming related videos. Tonight, however, he caught something quite intriguing on their CCTV camera that was mounted outside of their house. It was extremely eerie, he said, and he wasn't sure if whatever we see on this video was human.
Right now. You can go slow-mo. So weird.
At first there seems to be a person running, but then it transcends into the sky, like a balloon, until it's gone. And then there's a huge shadow of a creature with wings. His family and friends were also speechless and clueless. Nobody knew what had transpired here that night. It is quite unusual though, right? Is it a being from another dimension? Or what else is unfolding here? Just a glitch? Let me know. Now we want to check out an update on the creepy piñata man, Mario Lara. I'm sure that most of you are familiar with the owner of the apparent haunted party store that had a particularly creepy piñata in it. Many were certain that this thing was possessed, and the last thing that was known about it was that Mario himself burned it. There were just too many terrifying things going on. However, apparently the activity did not stop after that. He has several CCTV cameras installed around the house and in his store, which is situated on the ground floor level. One day, something seemed to have grabbed his finger and pulled it back so hard that Mario was even hurt a little. Strange. What followed was a terrifying capture of the camera in the living room a while after. A ghost child seems to make it upstairs and lingers around for a bit, watching the man with the VR set. Easy to think that Mario's son might have been captured here, but apparently he and his mother weren't home at the time. Really hard to say what exactly is going on here then. Maybe the dark portal in his store is still open. The following is a pretty creepy capture that was forwarded by user Shockwave74. He states that this image was captured by a wife and husband who had just moved into their new home. The wife grabbed their camera and decided to capture a picture of her husband on the sofa. However, there seemed to be somebody else with them that night. A pretty creepy looking face can be seen, seemingly hiding in between the steps of an assembly ladder. The couple is pretty certain that they had no guests in their home at the time, so who knows, maybe a former resident was visiting them from the afterlife, or even worse, an unwanted intruder. Whatever the answer, it's pretty safe to say the couple must have had nightmares after seeing this head pop up on their photograph. Frank sent the following clip, and he stated that it was recorded by an urban explorer in Asia, who was following a local urban legend that a kuntilanak was seen around a house close to his neighborhood. It appears that this man is following some odd noises to the upper level of a house he's exploring. Eventually he makes it upstairs and continues his documentation about the unknown. This floor is holding a door, which piques our investigator's attention, so he opens it, and of course we don't see anything. But But moments later, he records the following. Was it a woman walking up the stairs? The man gets nervous, and we can see several orbs passing by his camera. He waits the situation out and then goes for another peek. Looks like a crazy person. These are the last moments of the camera recording, which now seems to be situated on the floor. Following was shared on Logan Roberts' channel. It's a security video that was captured by their camera outside the house. It shows Logan's mother, who was out in the yard to get their pet back in the house. But besides capturing his mother, the camera also noticed a weird object.
Come on, Milo. Give it, Mahu.
They thought it might have been an insect at first, but they never saw anything like it before. Was it perhaps a flying apparition? This infamous video is known to many as the ghost car. A mysterious driver who was trying to escape police that night vanished into thin air.
This mysterious driver tricks cops into thinking he's about to pull over, then all hell breaks loose. The officers watching this tape get only a quick glimpse of the man behind the wheel. It's the last look they'll get. For a moment, it appears as if the driver and his car have disappeared into thin air. But in the blink of an eye, the driver comes into view again. This time, he tries to outrun the police rather than just vanish. His moves are still baffling to the police as he swerves all over the road, driving like a man possessed. And just when he's really thrown the cops for a loop, he gets back on a straightaway, showing off a seemingly supernatural speed.
We're still approaching S16.
In just a moment, he's going to make a turn into the Twilight Zone. Watch. A fence at the end means no way out, or does it?
To this day, it's still unexplained how this car could make it through this wire fence and escape the police cruisers. Some people claim that the car drove through an opening in the fence that wasn't captured on camera, and that this whole thing is not more than just a hoax. However, this theory has never been proven, and while this could definitely be the case, it remains a ghostly mystery and one of the most infamous dashcam videos known to man.
Or does it?
A security guard was working his night shift at an old cave system, a spot known for frequent break-ins. His job was simple: keep trespassers out.
Dice que el tío, el Mickey, no existe. Pero mi gente, sí existe. Yo he estado durante muchos años en la mina y siempre he querido encontrarme, pero nunca tuve esa oportunidad. Pero tengo esa fe de que sí me voy a encontrar. Escuchan. Cayó piedra. ¿La escucharon? ¡Qué miedo! ¿Escucharon? ¡Qué miedo!
It started with sounds echoing from the dark tunnels, sounds that made his skin crawl. What really shook him was that they sounded just like a child's voice, calling out from deep within the cave. That's when he started recording, trying to document whatever was making these impossible noises. His security team later reviewed the footage, and no one could explain what they heard. While some thought it might be a prank, others had a darker theory. There are old stories about cave creatures that mimic children's voices to lure people deeper into the darkness. Was this what the guard had encountered? Either way, one thing's certain: whatever made those sounds shouldn't have been there. No child could have gotten past the security barriers, and the cave system had been empty for hours. Maybe some places are better left unguarded after dark. This video was shared by Eric Gunner. He's documenting a pretty terrifying haunting, which is transpiring in his very own house. This recording is one of the latest entries, and Eric tells us that he got woken up by some loud noises stemming from downstairs. He's living by himself, and no friends were over that night, which is why he was pretty nervous. But what makes all of it even stranger is that somehow the power was off. No light switch was working anymore. So, what to do? He starts making his way downstairs and to explore the house for these odd noises he had heard.
Me chocó ese teléfono. Creo que nunca había mostrado mi casa. Aquí es donde reciente me mudé. Hasta miedo me da gritar hola. Se los juro que se escuchaban ruidos. Obviamente ya reconozco los sonidos de la casa y se escuchaban ruidos. Esto es lo que yo escuché que se sonaban. Es todo este pedazo. ¡Ay, cabrón!
At some point, there seems to be somebody peeking out of a room. He believes it to be the face of a lady. Strange. Maybe an intruder that made it into the house. Can't find anybody in this home though. So is it safe to assume that this person made it out of the house after this scare? Or was something else unfolding that night? This activity was captured by R.V. Godoy, and people suspect that he could document a possible haunting as it was unfolding within the four walls of his apartment. Startled by something, he seems to run away and locks the door behind him. But an entity that we couldn't see yet is knocking on the door, and this gets even worse. The door is rattling quite a bit. And the man makes it into another room and locks the door. He takes a deep breath and then goes in for a little peek. The entity then forces its way into the room and the video ends. What's your opinion? Did this man tamper with forces that he better shouldn't have? The following is a pretty strange recording that was sent in by Louis B. He stated that he does not know the original source, but that the video was recorded by a CCTV camera which was mounted in a shoe store. We can see the store owner talking to a customer. However, a strange image is visible in the mirror in the back. A shadow can be seen. The owner had no idea where it originated from, and only noticed that something was off when performing a routine check of the recordings that evening. What do you think? Is it just a setup? Or is something otherworldly going on here?